Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set up a Node.js Notes app in Docker. So what is Docker? Well, Docker is a software development platform and virtualization technology that makes it easy to develop and deploy apps inside of containerized environments. So basically what that means is apps will run the same no matter where they are or what machine they're running on. So for our example today, we are going to use this GitHub repo, uh, ist402 Docker. I'll link that down in the description below. And we are going to navigate to labs here, and we are doing the Node.js to do app. So this README gives all the instructions that we need, and we can get started with that. So we'll be using play with Docker, and if you don't have an account, you'll need to create one. But once you do, you can go ahead and click start. And once we're in here, we can add a new instance. And we will go ahead and clone our GitHub repo inside of there. And you may need to use Control-Shift-V to paste it rather than just Control-V. So if that doesn't work, you'll have to just add the shift in between. Okay, now that we've cloned it in there, we can just make sure everything's inside of there. So we can list out all of the files in here. Okay, and we see we've got our Docker file and some other things inside of here. And I believe it talks about, yeah, the Docker file in here. And so basically it just is telling it to install all the dependencies that we'll need. And now we can continue. So now we will build the container. So we'll take this command here and paste it into our bash terminal here. And basically what that's doing is creating a new container. So here we have the host OS, Docker engine, which is what we were just on. And now we're making a new container here with our Node.js Notes app. Actually, if you look at their logo, we are just adding a container on top of Docker. So it's very, very appropriate logo that they have there. All right, so that takes a minute. Oh, it looks like we're actually done, maybe? No. Yeah, well, once that finishes, okay, now we're done. So once that's finished, we'll skip over this. We could look at our images. Okay, run the container. So let's do that. We will copy this. And now we have our container running, and you'll see this will pop up here. So we specified that we want to run it on port 3000. And if we click this, it'll open up our app. Okay, so now we have our Node.js Node app. So we can add items like bread, okay, milk, ice cream. All right, you can check them off, delete them, delete it, and we could say it saves. Okay, and we can go back. We can close this, go back to our Docker playground, and if we open the port again, it does in fact save our entries. Now, if we want another Notes app or another instance here, we can, we will have to, okay, we can go ahead and copy this. All right, and that will open another container in port 3001. So if we open port 3000, we can see we have our ice cream and saves there. And if we go to port 3001, there should not be anything here when we open it. No, there's nothing. So this is a new container. Okay. All right, so we have these two different ones, and depending on which one we open, it will have our appropriate information there. And so that's it. We've already installed our app and we have it up and running. I want to tell you about the purpose of why we'd be setting up all these different containers. So microservices are the new way to go when it comes to making apps. It's a new architecture structure. So typically we have this monolithic architecture, and in the example of MediaMore, it's like basically like YouTube, a video sharing app, and they have everything built into one thing. I guess, yeah, so one giant app has everything from, I guess this would be like the profiles, maybe favoriting videos, liking, the videos player themselves, search function, that would all be put into one app. Now, a microservice architecture would feature many different microservices. So basically, it's splitting up that one giant app into all these different microservices. So this would be the most liked microservice, the user info microservice, the video uploading microservice, and it just splits up all of them. And the advantage of that is, in terms of DevOps, you could have a team working just on the content microservice or the recommendations microservice. So if they're making changes to the recommendations functionality of the app and they completely break it, well, it only breaks the recommendations. Everything else will still continue to work. And it will only really have a negative effect on the recommendations. And you could just roll back that one microservice to the point of where it works rather than doing the entire app, which might break even more things. So it's a safer way of splitting everything up and working on one component at a time. Now, you do have to keep your tabs on everything because the more microservices you have, that's just more to be aware of. So it can get a little confusing if you have so many. However, it does help in saving time for onboarding new members on your team because they pretty much just have to know how their content microservice works, if that's what team they're going to work on, and I guess how that will communicate with the other microservices. So they don't have to learn the entire structure. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something about microservices or Docker, and I will see you in the next video.